Happy Monday, and welcome to Audacity Presents. Thanks for joining the show. So I am coming off of our Disciple Life Conference. It is a 3-day conference that my church holds every year on discipleship, discipling our children, families, discipling the whole family, and sharing information about the culture, about homeschooling, schooling your kids, taking responsibility. It is always a great conference. This was our 3rd year, and I'm exhausted. We have been planning this conference since January of 2023, and finally August 3rd through the 5th, we held the conference, and it was great. We had a lot of great speakers and attendees there. So it's something that we do every year. So you can be on the lookout for our 2024 Discipleship Conference announcement that will be coming soon. Just a little plug for my church and our conference. But thanks for joining the show today. So I shared with you guys last week that I'm wanting to revisit some stories in the Bible, looking for things that maybe I never thought about before. And so last week I talked about the Samaritan woman, the woman at the well. And what was so interesting is how is it that a woman of whom the town knew that she was promiscuous, knew that she had had several husbands, because Jesus told her she had had several husbands. How is it that once she knew the Messiah that she was talking to at the well, how is it that she ran to town to tell everybody about the man whom she had met, and they believed her? This was a woman with a reputation, and that reputation wasn't a good one. Yet when she went and told the town people about Christ, they believed her and followed her back to where the Messiah was. And they said, we believe not only because of what you said, but because now they have actually saw and spoke to the Messiah. And so this week, I have been reading and going back, looking at the story of the man at the pool of Bethesda. We've read that story a million times. A lot of ministers have preached about it, that when the angel comes to stir the water, the people that are sitting around this pool, the first one in, they are said that this pool has healing properties. And so you have this man who has been an invalid for 38 years, that each year, a family member brings him to the pool. And when the angel comes to stir the water, he tries to make his way to the pool to be the first one there, but people jump ahead of him. But on this particular time, Christ is there in the crowd and singles this man out and asks him, do you want to get well? I think the story is in John 5. Christ says, do you want to get well? And instead of the man simply saying yes, he gives Christ the story of, I've been coming here, coming to the pool. Every time I try to get there, someone jumps. Christ didn't ask for all that. He did not ask for all of that. Christ asked him, did he want to get well? So this is my question for this story as we revisit it. How is it that a man who had been an invalid for 38 years, meaning he had not walked for 38 years, how is it that when Christ told him to pick up your mat and walk, he gets up and walks? How is it that he remembers how to walk? How is it that he got up and walked without any assistance, without, as my pastor says, without any physical therapy? He got up and walked. How is that? And then my second question is, how is it that of all the people that are out at this pool, because it said that there were many paralyzed, sick, lame people at this pool, how is it that Christ singled this man out amongst the crowd and addresses him? When I was rereading this story, the story tells us that the man had been an invalid for 38 years. But then it also says that when Jesus walked up to him, Jesus already knew let me pick up my phone here. Let me go to that verse because I want to read you guys exactly what it said. It said and I'm in verse 6 of John chapter 5, when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been a long time in that condition. Jesus saw him and knew what the man had been dealing with. Think about this. Jesus sees us and he knows what we're dealing with. The story of this man at the pool of Bethesda, it says that a man was there who had been ill for 38 years. The story tells us that. But then it says when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been a long time in that condition. And just my thought is, we deal with, in life today, we deal with a lot of things. And sometimes we ask that question, Jesus, are you there? Jesus, do you know what I'm going through? Jesus, do you see me? Jesus sees you and he knows the condition that you're in has been for a long time. And so Jesus said to the man, do you want to get well? Jesus knows what you've been going through. He knows how long you've been going through it. The question is, do you want to get well? Whether it is a physical condition, a mental condition, an emotional condition, whatever condition it is that you're going through, Jesus is asking the question of you today, do you want to get well? He's not concerned about, I need a surgery, I need physical therapy, I need a prescription. That's not what Jesus is asking about your condition. Just like he asked the man, do you want to get well? And Jesus said, pick up your mat and walk. The man didn't even say, well, I haven't walked in a long time, Jesus, how am I gonna get up and walk? The man didn't say, okay, Jesus, can you give me your hand and let me get up and walk? No, the man got up and picked up his mat and walked away with no assistance. He didn't call the family member who had brought him to the pool. He just got up and walked. How is that? How is that? This just shows the miraculous healing, the audacity. Can I use that word? The audacity of when Christ is in the midst. There are no questions. There's nothing to explain when Christ gives you a command. Be obedient and answer him. Man, there were so many hidden gems in this story. And so today, if you have not accepted Christ as your personal savior, today is a good day. Be obedient and place your faith and trust in him. The audacity of the man at the pool. So this is my Mary moment. God can single you out from the crowd. Don't think that there are so many people around you, so many things going on in your life that God doesn't see you. He does. And he can single you out from a crowd. And when he singles you out, he already knows your condition. He's just waiting for you to answer the question, do you want to get well? That's a good one right there. All right, so what's on my replay this week? On my replay this week is a Maverick City song, and it's called No Longer Bound. So here's some of the words. You came to set us free. I am no longer bound. You came to set us free. I am no longer bound. The verse says, even in the valley of the shadow of death, I can take rest because the living God is living in my chest. Every day I wake up feeling blessed. And even if I don't, I see it as a test. Ooh, let me say that again. And even if I don't, now let me back up. Every day I wake up feeling blessed. And even if I don't, I see it as a test. That's awesome. I love that song. Anyway, check that out on my 2023 Spotify list. And hey, I'm going to go get some sleep. I am so tired from the conference we had this weekend. But you guys have a great week. And thank you for listening to Audacity Presents.